Lawmakers in the House of Reps today were enraged over the security situation in the country as they call for urgent national action. And as a former governor of Kano said, Kwankwaso dumps the PDP. Is the NNPP the real alternative to give the ruling APC and the APC a run for the money in 2023? Hello everyone, welcome to the program. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimbale in Abuja. Let's get started, shall we, everyone? And let's begin tonight by telling you that in Kwara State House of Assembly, the House has declared the seat of Honorable Sahid Pokwala vacant after he officially announced its defection from the All Progressives Congress APC. In a letter addressed to the umpire INEC and dated March 28, 2022, the Speaker of the Kwara State House of Assembly, Honorable Yakubu Danladi Salihu, says that the decision to declare the seat vacant is in line with the provisions of Section 109, subsection 1G of the Constitution. The letter reads, in part, following the letter of notification of defection by Honorable Sahid Popola Adekaye from the APC to the Social Democratic Party SDP, which was read on the floor of the Honorable House on Tuesday, March 22, 2022, and with reference to the letter from the APC Kwara State chapter requesting for the declaration of Ojomu Balogun State constituency seat vacant. The letter has since been acknowledged by INEC. It's now time for us to check some of your political roundup stories.
The tactics of bandits have changed, going by the recent train attacks in Kaduna. Therefore, the government's responses to these threats have to change as well. These were the words of the President of Niger Republic, Mohamed Bazoum, while responding to questions from State House correspondents after a private meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja. President Bazoum commended the Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawali for his role in handling banditry issues in the border communities the state shares with Niger, asking that the multinational joint task force be replicated across the region and pledged to support any joint task force funded by the Nigerian government to tackle banditry in both countries. Following the attack on facilities at the Nnewi South Local Government Headquarters at Ukpo in the early hours of today, the Anambra State Governor, Professor Charles Soludo, has condemned the thoughtless and mindless act in which the security man in charge of the local government premises was also gunned down. The governor, alongside the State Commissioner of Police, Echeng, and the Director of the Department of State Services, who visits to inspect the level of destruction, describes it as arson and bloodletting and questions what anger or protest that may warrant the destruction of public property built to help in the development of the state. President Muhammadu Buhari is promising better policies that will give a boost to the activities of the manufacturing and industrial sectors. Speaking at a virtual commissioning of the BOI Tower 2 in Abuja, President Buhari explains that his administration remains committed to supporting the sector through agencies such as the Bank of Industry with financing at single interest rates.
In furtherance of this mandate, the Bank of Industry has disbursed over 1.4 trillion naira to over 4.2 million beneficiaries, including micro, small, medium, and large enterprises.
A founding member of the People's Democratic Party and advisor to former President Goodluck Jonathan, Dr. Umar Ardo, has described the PDP and the All Progressives Congress as Siamese twins with high disregard for the rule of law. Addressing a news conference in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, where he renounced his membership of the PDP, a party which he co-founded and supported since inception, Dr. Ardo, who is a 4-time two-time governorship aspirant in Adamawa State, says his decision to resign from the PDP, though painful but necessary, is based on what he describes as dishonesty, lawlessness, impunity, and injustice in the party.
APC and PDP, they are all, Sesame twins. They are the same. And that is why I could not leave old PDP and go and enter new PDP. I would rather go and enter SDP.
The Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed says over 1 billion naira has been expended so far on his empowerment program across 14 local government areas of the state. The governor says the plan is to make the program enduring through a microfinance institutional framework that will provide access to funds for more people in order to lift them out of poverty. He stated this while distributing empowerment items to beneficiaries in Shira and Giade local government areas.
We have also developed an institutional framework by having a microfinance institution building called MEFIN to complement what we are doing.
The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekun Adegbite, is admitting that the government will not be able to deliver on its promise to revive the Ajaokuta steel rolling mill in Kogi State before the end of the Buhari administration. He made the admission while fielding questions from State House correspondents during the 34th session of the State House briefing, which was held at the State House in Abuja, where he outlined the successes and challenges faced by the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development since he assumed office. According to him, the project, which was to be handled by a Russian company at $2 million, was shelved thanks first to the COVID-19 pandemic and then the war between Russia and Ukraine. The minister, however, noted that in his time in office, Nigeria became self-sufficient in barite production.
The problem with Ajaokuta is actually what you call force majeure. Nobody thought of the COVID. If not for the COVID, maybe we'll have Ajaokuta, because the plan was to deliver Ajaokuta this year, 2022.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's tell you that a former Minister of Information in the Olusegun Obasanjo administration, Frank Inweke Jr., has today made a very bold political decision as the contest for the Enugu governorship election is concerned. Mr. Inweke also joined the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA today at an event in Enugu, the state capital. The former Obasanjo government spokesperson is volunteering to help rebuild Enugu state. Take a listen to him.
I have come to serve. I have come to stay. I have come to build. It is time for us to identify with the problem solvers and avoid the pretenders who promise change and leave everybody in chains. It is time to avoid those who promise power to the people but use the same power to enslave the people. Look at our state. In the last 7 years, the coast city is now competing with one of our neighbors as the poorest state in the southeast. While states like Anambra are enjoying prosperity through the operation of the APGA ideology, Enugu has continued to grow in poverty and squalor, such that our people have turned to begging as a means of survival. We can no longer afford to be quiet. I can no longer afford to be quiet. I have therefore stepped forward with boldness and courage to be counted among the progressive and prosperous Igbo.
That is a former Minister of Information under the Olusegun Obasanjo administration. It does look like things are shaping up ahead of the Enugu State governorship race. Now he's going to join the All Progressives Grand Alliance. Well, another sad event has occurred in Kaduna State today. Gunmen suspected to be bandits have attacked a low-cost housing estate at Kofagayan in Zaria local government area of Kaduna State and kidnapped 6 people, including a customs officer and his son. The police authorities are yet to confirm the incident, but a resident of the area told China Television that the bandits invaded the estate at about 8 p.m. on yesterday and started shooting sporadically. They moved straight to the customs officer's residence and thereafter took him away alongside his son. According to the source, the bandits trailed him from his family house in Zaria City down to the estate. 4 others within the estate were later abducted by the gunmen. This incident comes 2 days after bandits attacked an Abuja-Kaduna bound train, killing 8 people, injured 26, and kidnapped an unspecified number of persons who are the members of the House of Representatives and the Nigerian National Assembly. Today were furious and obviously very frustrated by the spate of attacks and incidents of insecurity in Kaduna State, and the debate on the floor of the Green Chamber was rather heated. Allow you to listen to some of the arguments of the lawmakers on the floor of the Green Chambers.
This is an elected government under a popular democracy, Mr. Speaker. But we continue day in, day out. Killings, massacre, banditry, armed robbery all over, left, right, and center. This is a report from just one local government out of the 774 local governments of the Federation. One local government, Giwa local government. And the case of Giwa is not just a new case that happened last week or just yesterday that he's reporting. He is only giving us the most recent happening. Giwa has been engulfed by banditry, crisis, and killings for the past 2-3 years. And Giwa has fallen, coincidentally, in a state that we call Kaduna State, where you have the representation of Nigerian military and other security agencies, the highest place you can count in the northern part of the country. Why should these things continue to happen?
Mr. Speaker, the truth of the matter is security in Nigeria has become a cash cow business. I am not willing to go without taking my own, and he is not willing to go without taking his own, and the other person is not willing to leave until when he got his own turn.
I am beginning to interrogate the power of our resolutions here. We have passed several resolutions, we have lamented. Is there any way now that we can ensure enforcement of our own resolutions? Can't we, as a house, take more drastic action? If our resolution will not work, sir, is it not possible to close this chamber?
I will put it as a motion and as amendment, Right Honorable Speaker, that we should suspend the releases of all the funds that we have appropriated to the security agencies till they tell us what they have done with what they have received so far.
Well, there you go. Some of the argument heated. It got to a point in time that the lawmakers had to caution themselves because they were visibly frustrated because everyone is looking for a solution, isn't it? The killings and the attacks weren't too many, and we're looking for ways by which these things can stop. And so tonight, let's get a sense of what exactly is happening around that corridor. And tonight, I'm being joined by Honorable Yakubu Umar Bade, the member representing Shikun Kajuru Federal Constituency of Kaduna State in the House of Representatives, who was a former member of the House Committee on Land Transportation. He joins us live from Kaduna State. Thank you so much, Honorable Member, for joining us tonight. The saddest incident that happened on that rail track happened in your constituency, and it does look like things have gotten to a head, isn't it? And, well, we heard the governor saying there needs to be bumped. These bandits, these terrorists need to be cleared out. Give us a sense of what is happening locally. You are closer to your people.
Yeah, thank you, Sean, for inviting me. And to say the least, I will tell you I'm very sad. What has happened is very unfortunate, and my condolence goes to the families that lost their loved ones, and to those that are still kidnapped. I pray that they will come back quickly. Shaun, the truth is this. I've said it severally. Today we are talking about the bombing of the train you agree with me that it is the elite now that follows the train in Nigeria. Because the cost of the train from Abuja to Kaduna is it ranges from 3,500 to 5,500. And if you go by road, the cost of to Kaduna is just 5. So you can see that the poor man still goes by
The connection seems to be horrible there. But part of the conversation and some of what we're hearing, although there hasn't been any difference in terms of the data that has been released by the state government or the federal government as far as those who were abducted are concerned. But let's take a look at that data that was released and the information released by the state government yesterday, telling us that about 8 people have been killed and to over 20 or so of them injured, and unspecified numbers are now unaccounted for, perhaps abducted in the hands of some of these terrorists, hoping that we'll get them as far as the military and the security agencies can. But part of the frustration is also what led to these, and part of our conversation also tonight will be how we can keep the rail track safe. The honorable member is had experience on oversighting on the issue of land transport, which include, of course, rail tracks. So you can see there, 26 people injured. As far as the information that we're getting is concerned, 8 bodies recovered, and 362 people, we understand, have their tickets validated. We do not know how many of them out of the 398 passengers who bought a ticket got on the train, but 362 had their tickets validated. Honorable Bade, if you can hear me now, we had your connection gone awry, but give us a sense of what you think is happening locally. Do your people know those people who are attacking?
Yes, thank you, Seun. I hope you can hear me now. Of course, I won't say they know them in passing.
It's better.
But I'm sure they do see them passing through their villages. And unfortunately, there's nothing they can do, because even if they call the security, most of the times, before help could come, these people who are motorbikes will have run into the hinterland. And you know, the area is not motorable. The best the security can do is to also get motorcycles and pursue them. Now, what is happening is very unfortunate. I will tell you that I have looked at this and I feel there is need for us as a country to look for foreign assistance. I listened to Senator Mark Ademi today on the floor of the Senate, and I agree totally with him. There is nothing wrong in we inviting foreign or developed nations to come and help us. Absolutely nothing is wrong with that. And remember that what happened on the rail is just a minute incident compared to the number of people that were killed in Giwa. Over 170 people were killed. Now, because they are in the villages, they are the poor ones, it wasn't given the prominence that this incident of the rail is given. And secondly, because it's the elite that are now following the rail, you see the prominence it attracted. The vice president was in Kaduna. I expected that he should have visited the poor people in Giwa also to commiserate with them over what happened. But because they are the poor, nobody went there, and this is very unfortunate. And I have listened also to the Minister of Transport, where he expressed his frustration about the integrated security monitoring and surveillance system solution that was not installed. Sheung, we are aware that this incident is something that even we don't need a soothsayer to tell you that it was an incident waiting to happen. So why were precautions not taken? Who frustrated the Minister of Transport from having a device or the technology to study the rail and monitor whatever is happening there? Who stopped that? And who frustrated his effort in getting that kind of gadget installed on our rail? You see, as long as we continue to go this way, where people are not punished for their inability to perform their function, I think we are not close to any solution in terms of insecurity in this country. It's unfortunate it has happened.
Honorable,
but
yeah.
Yes.
I would like our viewers to also listen to the perspective of Governor Nasir El-Rufai as a #1 citizen of that state and the chief security officer. He has his frustration that he has heard so many times about how things should be handled. He was at the villa the other time and was speaking about the fact that these guys needs to be a simultaneous operation to flush these guys out. In fact, there was a time also in Abuja at the conference where the governor was saying that the military should go and bomb them from their enclaves, from their hiding places, although those people will believe that in doing that, there might be some danger, there might be collateral damage. But this is what the governor had to say on this particular incident, and he's not changing his position on bombing these terrorists and these mindless people who are killing innocent Nigerians. Take a listen to Governor Nasir El-Rufai.
What we've always said is the way to end this banditry is simultaneous military and ground operations. If we have the Air Force bombing the camps, we know where the camps are. We have the maps. We know everything. We have their phone numbers. We listen to their conversations sometimes. So, but it has to be done across the 5 states and Niger State at the same time. What we've been doing over the years is you go to Zamfara, you chase them out, they move to Sokoto. You go to Sokoto, you chase them out, they move to Kebbi. From Kebbi, they move to Katsina, Kaduna. And they move seamlessly because of the forest ranges. So what needs to be done is, at the same time, bomb the forests, bomb the camps, and have ground troops on the ground as a blocking force, consisting of the army, the police, the Air Force Special Forces, Navy Special Forces on the ground, and just wipe them out once and for all. Of course, that has risks because some of the camps may also contain innocent people that have been kidnapped. But this is war. In war, you always have collateral damage, unfortunately. And if we continue piecemeal approach to this banditry, it will continue to grow because the amount of money these guys are making is so much that they will not stop.
Now, Honorable, you heard the governor there, Nasir El-Rufai. This was an event I was referring to when he was at the villa at one of those engagements on a Thursday, and he was expressing his opinion on how he thinks that these operations can be tackled. What is your view on that, on how he thinks this can be handled? He feels these guys can be bombed out of their hiding places.
Sheung, absolutely. That is a very, very good decision that should have been done. But the question here is this: are we just realizing that that's what needs to be done? And if that is what needs to be done, who is not taking action? Or is the military incapable of taking action on the suggestion by the governor? That is the question we should ask. Or are we saying the hierarchy of the military does not have this simple solution, because I know the governor, he's not a security expert. Do our generals need a Malam El-Rufai to tell them what to do? What's preventing them from doing that? Have they run out of ideas? It's very unfortunate and sad.
Let me ask you, Honorable, you are closer to your people,
yes,
so you can tell us. Some of these people, what are you hearing about them? Are they locals? Are they foreigners? Do your people know them? They may have cited them when they came for this attack.
Truly, most of them are foreigners, and they are very young, between the age of 18 to 25 or to 30, thereabout. Because I've interviewed a lot of my constituents who have seen these people on their motorbikes, and they are young people. Most of them are not Nigerian. And some of them, you see that they hide their faces. It means that there is connivance with the locals too. Now, because they are afraid of being recognized, they turban their face or they are hooded. So it's connivance.
So, I mean, what then is the problem? I mean, if some of the locals are seeing them, and one of the fear of the security agencies is that they're not getting as much intelligence. And intelligence is simple. Information that can be processed that will help in operations. So, I mean, why is it difficult that your people, the local people, are not able to get information to security agencies? What is exactly is going on? Is there a disconnect between the people who are supposed to provide intelligence to the security agencies?
I will tell you, it's very unfortunate. We have incidences where a particular report, intelligence report is given to the military, and the next moment, the bandit has gotten that information. So until we fish out the moles, even in the military, the confidence of the locals will continue to be eroded. Most at times, anyone in the village that takes a report to the military, the next moment, the bandit or the terrorists will hear about it, and they will know who took that report there, and his family are dealt with or wiped out. We have incidences like that until we remove all the moles, even amongst the military. The confidence of the locals will continue to be eroded.
Let me ask again, Honorable, and one of the debates on the floor, when one of your colleagues was suggesting that citizens should be allowed to carry arms to defend themselves amongst the locals in your area, because now these attacks are coming on your people. Are there mechanisms of self-defense in whatever way? And I'm talking about organized vigilante groups and some kind of security agencies within the local communities that also serve as a first layer of protection to your people?
Yes, kudos to the state government. We have the CADVIS, which is the Kaduna Vigilante Service. They've been doing a lot, but if you consider the firepower of the bandit or the terrorist compared to the den gun or the knives and arrows or the swords which the vigilantes hold, you see, it's nothing to compare with the terrorists that are having AK-47 with maybe rounds of bullets up to 500 or 1,000. So you agree with me that the vigilante can only serve as a conduit for information dissemination. Otherwise, they can.
All right, we are due for a break, Honorable. We are due for a break, but I wouldn't allow you go, Honorable, without getting to hear from you. What do you think is the urgent solution? Because the lives of your own constituent members are involved here. In 30 seconds, if you can tell us, what do you think can be the immediate solution? Because if your people are involved, they must have a clue onto how this can be resolved, isn't it? 30 seconds.
Honestly, I think it's commitment from the side of the government and everyone. Real commitment.
Okay. Honorable Yakubu Bade, member of representing Shikun Kajuru Federal Constituency of Kaduna State in the House of Representatives. Thank you so much, Honorable, and we commensurate with your people who have lost their lives and those who have also, the families of those who are expecting their family members back home. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on the program. We'll take a break, everyone, and when we come back, we shall be joined by Senator Robbie Musa Kwankwaso, a former governor of Kano State, former defense minister, and a former senator who's dumped the PDP to join the NNPP. We'll find out, is the NNPP the real alternative political party the nation should be looking out for? Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on the program. A former governor of Kano State, Senator Robbie Musa Kwankwaso, on Tuesday officially dumped the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and joined the new Nigeria People's Party. Well, Senator Robbie Musa Kwankwaso has been given reasons for dumping the party where he became a minister and became governor, and now he ran in 2019 on that platform of the party for the ticket of the party as a presidential aspirant. Senator Robbie Musa Kwankwaso has also complained that the PDP and APC has failed Nigerians. And since joining NNPP, the party has held a national convention where they said they will get Nigeria out of the doldrums. Now, tonight, we're being joined by a two-term governor of Kano State, a former minister of defense under the Olusegun Obasanjo administration, a former senator, Senator Robbie Musa Kwankwaso. He joins us from Abuja. Thank you so much, Senator, for joining us tonight. Let me start by getting your view, first and foremost. This is perhaps one sad incident that a lot of Nigerians are seeking a solution. Before we go into politics and other issues, is the issue of the attacks that we've seen in Kaduna. An abduction of about 6 people has occurred yesterday night. Reports coming from this morning in an estate in Kaduna. Then also we saw on Tuesday the attack on a train station, and unaccounted, several numbers of people are not accounted for. 26 people are injured, 8 people are being killed in these dastardly acts. Give us a sense, as a former Minister of Defense, from your own standpoint, what do you think is a major problem here, and how do we tackle it?
Sean, thank you very much. It's very unfortunate that all of us in this country have to find ourselves in this big problem. The issue of security, not only in Nigeria, but anywhere in the world, is key. And that is why our Constitution and all other constitutions that I can remember put a lot of emphasis on the issue of security of lives and properties. As you mentioned that I was a Minister of Defense, yes, I am so happy that I had that opportunity during the second term of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, that he appointed me the Minister of Defense. And in that office, I had opportunity to work together with the military. I had an opportunity to see them right from the beginning at Zaria being trained, at Kaduna, NDA being trained, and of course being trained all over the world. And I believe that we left military that was capable and disciplined. And ever ready to defend the territorial integrity of this country. I had an opportunity to visit them all over the world, especially here in Africa, in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, in Darfur, and other parts of the world where they had reasons to be there for operations. And they did it successfully, and they all returned back. Now, what we are seeing today, unfortunately, in my opinion, is a reflection of the leadership. They are doing their best, but I believe that given the opportunity of better training and retraining, better equipments, and arms and ammunition, I'm sure our military can perform better. Not only the military, because normally military is the last resort. We have other security agencies that have also gotten the required training. Now, put together what we are seeing today, especially my humble self and many other people who are associated with military and other security agencies, are very much shocked and surprised that some of these things are happening not far away from here in Abuja, happening between here and Kaduna and many other parts of this country. I believe this is a time to advise and urge the government to do whatever they can to see how we can get better improvement so that people can have confidence in this country, confidence that they can go out to places and come back home safely, confidence that they can go into their rooms and sleep well, wake up in the morning and continue with their legitimate activities. And that should be done because that is the main responsibility of any good government, not only in Nigeria, but across the world. Let me take this opportunity to condole the families of those who have lost their lives and also thank all those, especially the military themselves and other security agencies, because from the news that we have, they have done their best after inflicting, the bandits inflicting some of the injuries and deaths to Nigerians in the train.
All right, let me, because we will get to the point where I would like to know your own solutions to some of these problems, because your party now, NNPP, is saying that they have the solution to some of these problems. First and foremost, it beats the imagination of some of your friends in the PDP, were wondering why we Senator Kwankwaso abandon or dump the PDP at this time. Is it that your differences with some of your friends in the PDP are irreconcilable, or what went wrong so badly that you dumped the PDP where you gained prominence as a minister and as a governor?
Yes, you see, what is required to be done in the security aspect is also the sort of efforts that are required to improve the economy of this country. Everybody knows where we are, and of course, if care is not taken, going by what we are seeing on the ground, only God knows what will happen in the future, because it looks like very little is being done to reverse the situation of economy and all other areas we can even think of. So the security must be given priority. President and all other agencies, relevant agencies and departments, and of course the ministry itself, must be up and doing, must keep their eyes on what is happening. What you normally hear is that when the bandits or terrorists attack Nigerians, the military goes there to repel, to send them away. We are yet to hear that we had a major operation in all these parts of the country where the military itself is pursuing the bandits, it's not enough to throw a bomb here and there, but the infantry and other arms of the army must move in. These areas must be combed. These young men must be removed from all these places so that Nigerians can have the opportunity to do other things, like our farmers in all these areas have already been sacked. And talking to many people, especially from these infested areas, they will tell you that everybody knows where the bandits are. Everybody knows them. Many of them, in fact, most of them from the information, people that are from that locality or nearby states. And they know them, they know their families, they participate in many things. We begin to wonder what is really happening. In Kano, for example, when I was governor, the Boko Haram made all efforts to make Kano its base. But we took all the necessary steps, putting all the equipments, gadgets, and other things necessary to locate and identify these bandits, pick them, and deal with them according to the law of the land. At the end of the day, they, among themselves, they told themselves the truth that Kano was a no-go area. And I can assure you, Sheun, up till this moment in time, and of course in the near future, Kano will continue to be an island in terms of security in the northwest and even in northern Nigeria. Now, it surprises me, not only as a former Minister of Defense, but even as former governor of Kano, where I was chief security officer, where we had a real battle with them when I was governor. It's not only, on the other hand, it's not only the issue of military or the security agencies. There are other areas of security, the food security, issue of education, issue of employment, issue of other aspects of economy. When farmers are not going to the farm, when people have to pay ransom or taxes to the bandits, when people are losing confidence in government itself and realizing that the other side, another side of bandits, is more reliable, then it becomes a huge problem. You see, people respect government because they are sure of their protection and they are sure of being punished when they go wrong. And once people lose that confidence, then they start looking for alternative. And the alternative is, a part of it is even the bandits themselves. We know so many people, according to information about what we read, about the names, the families of these bandits, and they keep on operating. Sometimes I remember from here to Kaduna, they came 4 times consecutively. Every day they come almost at the same point, attack Nigerians, main trunk road from here to Kaduna.
All right.
So these are things.
Your Excellency, I don't know if you can hear me clearly. The question I asked earlier, I've moved slightly away from the security issue to yourself and the reasons why you left the PDP. And I was asking if the reasons are based on irreconcilable differences between you and some of your friends in the PDP. For those who have bit their imagination, where someone who served as governor of the PDP and also served as the Minister of Defense on the PDP platform will jump ship at this time, who also ran for the ticket of the party. Is it, I think, so bad which led you out of the PDP?
Yes, I heard you very clearly, Sheun. You asked 2 questions. I was answering A part of it. And B of part of it, which is the issue of leaving the PDP. You see, in 1998, I was part of the formation of the PDP at that time. At that time, I was Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps. I was elected delegate to the Consular Conference in 1994-95. And when it was being formed in 1998, I was really part of it. And the following year, in 1999, I was opportuned to be governor of Kano State. Now, you see, if you look at the formation of PDP, it was really not based on any ideology or any principle. It was purely based on the fact that people were sick and tired of the military at that particular time. And we all came together and agreed among ourselves that we would work as a family, North, South, Muslim, Christians, all ethnic groups and so on, not minding any tendency. We succeeded in comfortably removing the military at that particular time. And I'm happy to say that Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has done so many good things. Some of them people don't even realize, especially on the issue of the military itself. The foundation, solid foundations, was being laid by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo in his first and second term to ensure that the military doesn't have any opportunity again to come back. So the formation as it is that was the main purpose of PDP. And as we are moving, we realized, like in Kano, we had people, it's like a tripod. One leg was PRP, which was divided into two, Aminu Kano group, which was my group, and that of Arimi group. And of course, the far right, that is the MPN side. And together we came and successfully we won the election in Kano. And since then, you could realize that we had running battles with other people based on ideology. And that was why when the thing, the whole thing went to the boiling point in 2014, we decided to team up with progressives across the country to form APC. Unfortunately, APC could not yield the result that we or even Nigerians could say, yes, the change was positive. And we were there with many other people, groups, as you all know, Bit of ABGA, ACN, CPC, and 5 of us from PDP. And unfortunately, the leadership could not bring us together, mainly because of these differences of ideology. Now, and that was why we were there in PDP when I came back to PDP, and that was just before the 2019 election. Now we realized that we had an opportunity because we talked to Nigerians. We are Nigerians who are conversant with what is happening, not only at Abuja level, even at village level. And we realized that people are sick and tired of these two political parties. Unfortunately, we have leaders in these parties who don't understand, who refuse to change, who refuse to become flexible, to understand that time is dynamic. Yes, you can be 60, 50, 70, or even more if you understand how to change yourself on daily basis, on hourly basis, on yearly basis, to go at the rate at which people will understand that you know and you are ready to understand their problem. Now, so based on that,
I'd like
really,
to follow up on
my humble self and
Your Excellency, based on what you have been quoted to have said, you said the APC and PDP have failed Nigerians. And now you're saying that the NNPP has what it takes to fix the problems of Nigeria. The big question here is, what gives you the confidence, or what exactly is the solution that ANPP possess? You now are being called the national leader of the NNPP. But the question is, you've been part of the APC, you've been part of the PDP. If you say they are the problems of Nigeria or they don't have the solution, people will ask the question, you have been part of these two political parties. What exactly is it that you are bringing that is different from what we have seen over almost 20 years of these two parties?
Yes, you see, we have been there as strange bedfellows. We have been there not agreeing, and I realize that we are the only group in this country that can go out and really form what somebody initially can call a third force. You see, in the last 1 year, I was occupied together with my good friends across the country, people who believe in real positive change. We put ourselves together in the name of the national movement, the TNM. And we are very careful in who really comes there, because the experience we are talking about made us to understand that these are the people who believe in our ideology. Now, if you want to know what we intend to do in this country, Sheon, please go to Kanu or ask anybody. We are so many, some are even in channels. Ask them what we have done in Kanu in terms of security, in terms of education, in terms of youth employment, in terms of agriculture, roads, infrastructure. You go to Kano today, Kano is completely different from what it used to be. So you see, all these things have to do with capacity. All these things have to do with what Malam Aminu Kano told us about the love and support we have for the masses of this country. So these are the sorts of things that we are ready to do. And one thing I want you to know, Sheon, is that based on our capacity and ability to perform as government, all what we have done in 8 years, all the things I am telling you and many others that can be told by people of Kano, we have done them without resort to borrow one single kobo or naira or dollar from anybody. We have never borrowed anything. All what we have done was purely based on the internally generated revenue and, of course, what we get from federal accounts.
It's now time for us to close the program. But in 30 seconds, you're now being called the national leader of the NNPP. Are you also going to be the presidential candidate of the NNPP? Just in 30 seconds.
On 22nd of February 2022, we formed and we launched TNM. From there, we started working on the party, which is the New Nigeria People's Party. Now, you can see that within 1 month, we were able to do party registration, congresses at ward, local government, state, zone. And yesterday we had our convention. I'm happy channels were there to report to Nigerians what we have done. I can assure you that we now have a party, a platform. And the biggest success so far is that we have provided Nigerians who believe in change an alternative. Because what we have is those people on one hand, PDP and APC, who are struggling by all means to maintain the status quo. And what Nigerians are saying is this status quo cannot continue because we have benefited nothing from what responsible governments should do. So I believe that at the end of the day, we succeeded in having a party on the ground, and I can assure you people are registering left, right, and center across the country. So I urge all Nigerians to register with New Nigeria People's Party and ensure positive change in 2023.
We are totally out of time, but you've not answered my question on whether you'll be the presidential candidate of the NNPP. We are totally out of time. I wish you...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just 1 month now, very soon we'll come up with a position on the issue of who becomes a flag bearer of our party, the New Nigeria People's Party. Thank you.
All right. Senator Robbie Muso Kwankwaso, former governor of Kano State and the national leader of the NNPP, thank you so much for your time tonight with us.
Thank you.
Well, that's how much we can serve you tonight on the program. I hope you enjoyed every bit of it. On behalf of the crew, I'm Sean Wakimale. Bye-bye.